Good evening. So great to be here this evening. My name is Yolie Flores, and I'm a big fan of Joey, Dedio, the producer, and the main actor in the movie. I'm also a former school board member at LA Unified, and have spent about 20 years of my career being an advocate on behalf of children and families here in the county of Los Angeles. So I'm so honored and privileged that I was invited to be with you tonight. Just to say a few things about this evening and about the movie. I've seen it before, and I was pleased to see it again tonight. And I think for me, when I watched this the first time and again, I felt as though movies like this are great, and we need more movies like this, not only because we need more inspiration in our lives, and we need an abundance of heartwarming messages to melt away the ice of stress and worries that we have every single day, whether it's the economy or jobs or gun violence or homelessness or sequestration or dropout rates, all of what we live every single day. But we also need movies like this to shine the light on the good, on what's possible in communities. And in TIO PAPI, in particular, the importance of family and the love of family. I have been privileged to have known Joey for several years now. We met when he produced The Providence Effect. Did any of you see that movie? So The Providence Effect was a documentary about a school on the south side of Chicago. And it was a movie about a very, very special school called Providence. And this is a school that admits children from the neighborhood. 100% of those students are very, very low-income African-American children in a community blighted with the worst of the worst. At this school, and this is a true story, it's a documentary, for over 30 years, 100% of these children graduate. 100% of these children graduate and go on to Tier 1 colleges and universities. When I saw that movie, I was a school board member. And I don't think I ever shared this story with Joey. But it was that movie that helped me be as courageous as possible to push for a better educational system. Because when I saw that movie, I asked myself, so what's the excuse? Why can't all of our kids graduate and go on to Tier 1 colleges and universities? It's not the excuse of poverty, and it's not the excuse of all of the things that we use. And so then today we have this movie, TIO PAPI. And again, movies like this remind us that what we think is not possible is actually possible. In Los Angeles County today, actually in California, there are 56,138 children in foster care. 13,394 waiting for adoptive families. And for every child that remains in foster care, we know that the consequences are so troubling. These are the kids that end up in the juvenile justice system when they don't have families, or on the streets at best. At worst, these are kids that end up in a life of crime, of drugs, or a forfeited future. Children need families, and this is the message of TIO PAPI. And every single child welfare system in the nation knows this and works hard to find children good families. And when extended families step up to the plate, like Ray Ray, then we all win. There's nothing more heartwarming and powerful to me than seeing children embraced by love and support of families. So Joy, I'm so proud of what you continue to do to shine the light on the critical issues of the day, inspiring us to act, to find solutions, and to embrace positive social change. Thank you for including me in this special day.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I actually got to see the film, but my name is Kikey Castillo. I'm an actress like many of you here, but I'm also a host on a groundbreaking Latina talk show that is going to be airing this Saturday at 7 p.m. on KCAL 9. We're very excited. Yes, thank you. My friend and my producer, Lorena, of the show's right there, came to support. Good, nice producer, right? So I just want to say thank you for being here, and I believe that we want to introduce Joey, and then we'll start with the Q&A.
Thank you, Kikey. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very humbled. I first want to thank the SAG Foundation. They have been great to this movie. They have given us screenings in New York, Los Angeles, and we're next week in Miami. They have just embraced us, and I'm very, very grateful for the SAG Foundation. I want to thank you too, Kikey. And I want to thank Yolie, who I've known for a really long time, and thank you so much for coming. It's really an honor and a privilege just to have you here, and you're a powerhouse, and I'm very grateful you're in my life. There are a few people here. Of course, one person can't make a movie. We've got some really great people here that are going to be on the panel this evening. First and foremost, I want to introduce one of the producers and the co-writer of the film, Brian Herskowitz. Come on up. Brian. One of the co-producers, Mareo Mukes, is here. Mareo. And we have four of the actors here, which I'm really, really grateful for. We have Bongo, Jeffrey DeSerrano. And we have three powerhouse women that made this whole movie happen in character and as people. Gina Hecht, the lawyer. Gimpel, officer. And incredibly, this movie could not have been what it is without cheeky Elizabeth Rodriguez. Perfect. Okay. Do you need the mic now, Kikey? I think that we're going to have you're going to ask us some questions.
I am good. I'm mic'd right now. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Excellent. Okay, great. Well, I'm just thrilled to be on stage with these wonderful actors. Doing my research, because I'm a good researcher, I'm a good host, I saw their IMDb credits, and they were just super long. And I was so impressed, because these people have been working constantly, nonstop, since they probably started their careers. So I'm very blessed to be on stage. Thank you very much to share the stage with you. So I want to know, and I'm sure you all want to know, Joey, how does a good Latino boy like yourself and Brian, a good Jewish boy like yourself,
that's the magic,
right, meet, collaborate, and decide to write this wonderful, beautiful story?
Brian, how did we meet? I've known you.
Well, you know, there's actually a Providence Effect in all of this. A gentleman that worked on Providence Effect named Alan Katz is a terrific producer, writer, and was involved in helping with that documentary. And he and Joey had been speaking about some films that they were trying to do actually down in Miami, and I had been doing some independent productions. And Joey and Alan came to me, and we started talking. At that time, we were talking about some other projects, not TIO PAPI.
That's right.
And then we started speaking about TIO PAPI, and we're trying to look at Miami for a location for it. Started talking about it, started playing with the story a little bit, and that's how we came here.
That's right.
Pretty much it.
Thank you.
I knew one of us would.
So Joey, when you two were writing it, did you picture yourself starring in it? Were you like absolutely?
Come on. Come on, Kikey. Next question.
All right. How many writers do we have in the audience right now? Okay.
Wonderful.
All right, because this one's kind of geared towards you guys. I'd like to know how many rewrites, drafts you went through, and to get it to where it was when you filmed it.
Go ahead, Brian.
From the time that we met to the time that it actually got on screen, there were probably, I'm guessing that there were 3 or 4 major rewrites, and then another 10 or 12 polishes. And by the way, this is one of my favorite actresses in the film. Partly, that's why I married her.
There you go.
No nepotism involved whatsoever. We had her audition. She did 30 different auditions. We weren't going to go with her. We had somebody else in mind. But anyway, as she can attest, that we were actually doing some rewrites on the set during production, and sometimes at the bequest of the actors. Not that I'm mentioning any names.
Which she made outstanding.
Yeah, she definitely did.
And that whole courtroom scene, which she diligently executed on set.
But
And it was phenomenal.
Yeah, we were rewriting, the film, to me, it's a process like all art. It's never finished, it's simply abandoned. You get to a place where you go, okay, we can't do anything else now because we're shooting. But even, Spielberg will go back after a film is done and reshoot, and 25 years later put in new scenes and do different things. So I guess nothing is truly finished, but that's about it. I'd say 3 or 4 major rewrites and then another dozen or so.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And as we all know, there's always a lot of good projects out there and a lot of people that want to get their projects made. But one of the challenges and the hardest thing to do is get funding. How did you guys get funded to make this movie? And can you talk about your budget?
No, I'm not going to talk about the budget, but, but I'll talk about the funding.
Okay.
We were very, very fortunate. We had come off of a movie that I'm very proud of, that I produced 3 films last year in New York City. I did Musical Chairs, which I'm very, very proud of, and it's nominated for a GLAAD Award as Best Picture. So we're up for Best Picture in San Francisco in May. Then we did TIO PAPI, and we did another film called 36 Saints. We did 3 films. We just really hustled and got them done. And the two first films of Musical Chairs and TIO PAPI, I partnered up with an incredible woman who saw both projects and was really proud of both projects. And she got behind the funding for Musical Chairs and for TIO PAPI, and without her, none of this would have been possible. So I'm very, very grateful for her and her participation in both of these films. And without her, this never could have happened.
It's true what they say. It's relationships in this business, right?
True.
You have to keep them up. So next, speaking of relationships, what about the casting process? We all want to know that, don't we? How did you go about the casting process? Or did you call up your friends and say, hey, be in my film? And tell us maybe something fun or funny that happened during that process.
Well, I got to tell you, I think one of the best experiences I've had, I've produced a bunch of pictures, but it was finding these kids. These kids are, I mean, come on, really. I mean, these kids are fantastic. And these kids, it was really funny finding these kids. They're all New Yorkers, they're all Puerto Rican, and they're all from New York. And it was funny because when each of them came in, it was, and we saw a lot of kids. Boom, 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 boom. I get all 6 of them? Yeah, right? And we just knew, boom, 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 when they came in. And we have a great casting director, Sig Miguel, who's fantastic, who I've known since I was a kid acting, when he worked for somebody else, and he used to call me, and I was like David Castro, who plays my nephew, his age when I started. And I've known Sig that long, and I have a great relationship with him, and he cast all of our films out of New York. And he brought a couple of really great people, like Erica, to the plate. I've known Jeff for quite some time, and we have a great relationship as friends. Brian insisted that this Gina Hecht was going to, no. We were so honored to have Gina, who was incredible.
You know, Joey, if you sleep
incredible.
with someone for 35 years, you finally get a part.
Go, Gina!
Let me just say, it really does take just a lot of persistence.
And Frankie G, who I love, he's become one of my best friends, who plays Chizzy. He came in, and you know, when we were casting for those roles, I kind of like just to talk to somebody. Like, I don't always go with the read, because I know I'm not a great cold reader. You know what I mean? I hate auditioning. And I thought, like, I had Frankie come in, and I just asked him a bunch of questions. He was like, "What are you talking about, man?" I said, "I could hang with this guy." You know what I mean? And I knew that he was perfect for Chizzy, you know? And Elizabeth, my God, I've known Elizabeth. How long have we known each other? We were kids. We were kids back in New York. And I thought of Elizabeth because Elizabeth works all the time. Elizabeth has been in a ton of movies. She's a great actress. She was doing at the same time, I feel like I'm talking about her. She's right here, but at the same time, she was on Broadway doing the Mother F with the hat, which received rave reviews, and she was brilliant. So she was double teaming, going from Broadway and going to the set of TIO PAPI, back and forth from Washington Heights down to 45th Street, back and forth, and working on that. And Elizabeth, I've known Elizabeth since we were young, and Elizabeth always is very pretty, but she's got balls, you know, and she just does as a person. And that was the essential quality of Kikey, to be beautiful and have balls, you know what I mean?
She's got vagina, Joey, come on now.
She's strong, let's put it that way, and I love her. And she just rocked the role. She was ideally perfect. You weren't offended with what I said, were you? No.
It's not the first time I've been accused of having balls.
Yeah, well, I just want to say everyone everyone was almost perfectly cast. I just couldn't picture, everyone was. Excuse me, let me take it back. See, that's the lawyer coming out, and that's another thing I wanted to say. You played that so convincingly that me and my friend Lorena really thought that maybe you were a lawyer in real life and were wanting to dabble in acting. Is there any truth?
Boy, sometimes it sure feels like that.
Actually, I was looking at your credits as well, and you tend to get cast as a lot as doctors and lawyers, which you play very well. But there are a lot of actors right now that struggle with that, saying, "Oh, but I always get cast as the mom, or I always get cast as the cop." But you seem to be doing well at it. Is there any advice that you can say to someone that, after playing the same kind of doctor and character over and over, I mean, do you embrace it?
Well, be thrilled that you keep getting work over and over. I mean, you know, I'll play a lawyer another 50 or 100 times. As long as you hire me, I'll come to the party. I mean, you know, that's just part of that game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, you have been living an actor's dream. She works a ton on stage. You have a ton of film and TV credits. What would you say is like, here's what I want to know. How do you balance that theater performance, which we all know is one's area, and the subtlety of film and TV, because you just were so wonderfully just present and still in this role as Cheeky. But you're also you're also a theater person.
That's a really good question. I think the more you do it, the more you know the difference. They're all different animals. And so, of course, it's always about who you're acting against in that story. And so the camera becomes just another character. But in this particular film, the part I was doing on Broadway was an incredibly charged and difficult part. So it was easy to not be big in this because I was I was working on fumes, pretty much. But you know, you basically just show up, and if you're present and in what is your circumstance, whatever that is, then you work off of that. So whether it's television, the world around you will inform you how big or small or subtle. When you're in an 1,100-foot theater, I mean, 1,100-seat theater, there's no real time for subtlety. So, but this was an incredible. When Joey made it impossible for me to say no, I got a call. I've known him for a long, long time. We don't even see each other for years. I'm not even going to tell you how long. And then I read the script, and I was just so thrilled that it was being made, and it was going to be this really beautiful story. And guess what? It was Latinos, and guess what? There weren't any like crackheads and criminals, and I was overjoyed. And every person that came to this came as a labor of love, and you sensed it immediately. The energy between all the actors, from the minute you met them, it was just a wonderful time, and those kids were just delicious. And everyone from every aspect of the production was just a joy. And so, you know, that's when magic happens.
And where do you find yourself most comfortable, on the stage or on set?
I love it all, you know. It all brings different there's satisfactions in different things. I mean, the thing about theater, of course, you're in charge of your performance from beginning to end, and every night you're in the moment for the first time, and it's always different, slightly different. It just is. The thing about film and television is other people's mediums, so you're not in control of which angle they use, which take they use, so you sort of have to be really nice to the DP. The most important person is your DP. And then you just, you know, you give it over, and you learn how to give things over and hope that, you know, it all comes together.
That's a good tip. Be a good friend too with a DP.
I learned that a long time ago. Someone was like, the most important person is the DP.
Well, good. Erica. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Erica, you played Detective Johnson.
Yes.
Yay.
Really great role.
Thank you. Thank you.
A pivotal role in the film, which was very nice. And if she doesn't look familiar to you, she should, because this lady has had dozens and dozens and dozens of TVs and film and TV credits, which is amazing. Let me just tell you, some of them: Fame TV, ER, House MD, Touched by an Angel, the film Freaky Friday, and the most recent indie film Blue Eyes. I want to know what all that body of work and being in the industry has taught you.
Where's my next job? Okay. Oh no! Truly, what it's taught me is I do it out of love, because it's a rough road. I mean, it's a rough road, but it's it's opportunities like this. I mean, meeting Joey when, you know, we sat down for lunch out here, and I'd never met you before, and it was just like, oh, this is passion. This person is doing this because he loves this. I do it because I love it. And what I love is when I can connect to people, to a story, to a role that wakes me up and makes me want to give something of myself, invest something of myself. And that's what makes me want to keep going, what makes me want to keep discovering, just peeling away other layers to get to the heart of something, a character, a role. So that's why I keep going, and I keep expanding. I write music, I released music. I have one of my songs in a film, an indie film this year. So it's like I just keep expanding because, thank you. And thank you. My songs are on iTunes. It's called Spread Your Wings is the record, and my anthem to women is called Spread Your Wings, and it's in this film called Hill and Gully that's coming out. And but I'm just saying, it's for me, it's the most incredible journey to be an artist, to keep creating, to keep expanding, and it's a road. You gotta love it. You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it, because you know it ain't easy. So, but I think it's stories like this, projects like this, working with other actors like this that keep you inspired and keep you going.
Absolutely. What a great project too. You guys, very fortunate. Jeffrey, you were living in New York, and you were living in New York, right? Yeah, of course. You were on One Life to Live, All My Children. Then you say, oh, I'm going to go to LA, and you land a role on General Hospital. Coincidence? Or was that just good soap opera relationships?
Just blessings. Just blessings.
Oh, okay, okay. What about the ABC Diversity Showcase? A lot of us here are very familiar with that. They host it every year, and I think they do one in the East Coast as well. But I believe something came out of it?
Yeah, you know, that's interesting you bring that up. The ABC Diversity Showcase is something that is done annually by the major networks. And I was really, really blessed to be a part of it. And those relationships from the showcase, you know, ABC, I always feel like they're my home. And they have always been there for me, you know, to be a pilot season. But, you know, Mark Teschner saw me in the showcase and brought me in to General Hospital. And, you know, I was like Lucky's partner, Sereno, for like a couple years. And it was, you know, it was a great experience. It was wonderful to be a part of that. You know, it's such a family, just like working on this film. It was like I look at these people and this is like you know, we haven't seen each other maybe in a year, but this is like, it was really like family. And General Hospital was the same way. You know, when you got there, I was really blessed to be with a group of guys that, you know, they were family. They just welcomed me in. It was great.
Amazing. Good job. What was it like working with J.J. Abrams on Star Trek?
Challenging.
Yeah? Why is that?
You know, he's a very demanding guy. You know, we were, you know, when I worked on Star Trek, we were in the middle of the desert, you know, out in Bakersfield. And, you know, like there's nothing out there. And they come get you from your trailer, and then all of a sudden you see a crowd of things moving in the distance. And there's like 300 people working in the middle of nowhere, you know, to shoot a scene. And, you know, he may not be very big in stature, but he commands a lot on the set, and it was quite an experience getting to know him for a little bit.
I'm going to just stay right here because he is very blessed. I'm just going to rub up for him. Maybe that's my next job. No, I'm kidding. Mareo, I got to hear this. You were considered one of Aveda's top hair colorists. Now, I want to hear about this because I get my hair colored all the time. How do you go from that to co-producing TIO PAPI?
Crazy.
And did I say your name right, by the way? Is it Mareo or Mareo?
It's Mareo. It's
okay.
actually Mareo.
Okay.
I tell people my mom couldn't spell. But anyway, it was just, you know, I was in Chicago. I was a hairdresser, a colorist, doing what I was doing, and just thought, you know what, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. And I just packed my cats up and drove to California. That's literally what I did. I put my 2 cats in the car and a litter box in the back seat, and I drove to Chicago, and I was fortunate enough to meet Joey when I got out here. I had only been here about 4 months, and we started talking about the industry and film and whatnot. And I just wanted to be an actor. I thought Hollywood was waiting for me. And so I just wanted to be an actor, you know. And Joyce says, well, don't you want to do something bigger? Don't you want to do something more? And he kept, and then he taught me everything. You know, everything. I went through the School of Hard Knocks with him, though, because it was like on-the-job training. But he taught me everything from scratch, you know, how to do this, how to do that, you know, who's this person, what this person's job is. So I wound up being the hairdresser on the movie and the co-producer, you know, and then I had that little bitty role, you know.
He was a cop.
That found Nico.
And he did a great job.
Nico.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
But
What were the challenges of? What were the challenges of having those 3 roles on one production?
well, I'm doing her hair. You know, after she's coming from a really, you know, long day and a long night of being on stage with this very, very, very powerful. Joey was very smart. He had us all go watch what Elizabeth had to do because people were not.
I just want to say it was the most incredible thing that in the middle of like 70-hour days that they were 70-hour weeks they were having, Joey decided that he was going to get a huge group of people to come see this play, which was the most unbelievable thing for me, for them to all show up on their day off. And I was going to actually mention that it was just a real testament to like the support and the connection. I mean, I'm talking about location, property, all kind of people came, and it was an amazing, amazing, really special thing that, for me, forever.
But you get into the van every morning, and every morning the van would pull up at like 5 or 6 in the morning. We'd all be on like we'd like at like 50th Street or something like that, in 9th Avenue. And you get in the van and you don't see anybody, and then you just hear somebody in the back laying down. She'd be knocked out, and then you go see her on Broadway, which was the most inspiring thing for me as an actor, you know, to see her work. I went to go see it again because I was just blown away by what she was doing, you know.
You were nominated for a Tony, right?
Yes.
Unbelievable. Yeah, she brought me chocolate from the Tonys. She brought us all chocolate. You know, after she was at the Tonys, she brought us all chocolate the next morning, and you just were standing in awe of that presence, you know, and it was just so inspiring to me. It you know, it changed me, really.
Yay. Go ahead. You're
I don't know if you give it out to the audience.
I
if they
am.
have
I
any
was just going
questions
there.
or
Good
anything.
minds think alike. Going there. Yes. Any questions from the audience?
Joy, first of all, fantastic job, and everybody
Thank
did
you.
a great job.
How did your mother like it? I know you're with your mother. Did your mom like it? Thumbs up.
Mom was crying. I was crying.
I was crying.
Was there anything in your life experience that found its way into this story?
No, you know who's responsible for this story? Stand up, Don Norman. We were together, and he told me you should make a movie about an uncle that raises his nieces and nephews. He told me it, and thus the whole idea of TIO PAPI was born. And we went and we did it. And it was his idea. And that's where I came up with the whole idea to even start it. So nothing in my life. The only thing that I have similar in this life is that my sister's name is Daniela.
I got to put in a quick plug for everybody. You got to catch Gina in Bones next Monday.
All right. All right.
The reason he's saying that is because he's part of it too, and he was quite wonderful.
Yeah.
That's what the plug is about. Come on,
Right
give
on.
it up.
Her role is way bigger than mine. And she gets to play a judge with comedy and drama, and she does a phenomenal job.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
What camera did you use to shoot that on? It looked great. It looked so good.
Yeah, we shot it on the red.
On the red, no wonder.
Yeah. And we really played with the colors. We really brightened up the colors and really made it bright, because that's the way we wanted it.
How long did it take to make the movie?
I think we did it in, how many days? 20 days. We shot in 20 days. And it was so hot.
106 degrees in the Heights.
It was like 106 degrees. We were
With six
so
minors.
hot. So when you see our hair and it's all flat, we were so hot. I mean, it was unbelievably hot when we were shooting. Yes?
Joey and for Brian both, congratulations, first of all, marvelously written and done. I know, of course, some of the plans. I'd like you to elaborate for my purposes, but for the audience, on the plans for the TV series in Spanish and English.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not giving it away.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about TIO PAPI. TIO PAPI will be coming out theatrically in the theaters in September.
All right.
We have a deal. So it'll be coming. Los Angeles is definitely one of the cities that we're opening in. And we have, many people have asked us to spin it off into a television series. We have had many, many meetings, and we're very, very close to signing a deal where the uncle raises the 6 kids, and they live in Miami, and we spin it off into a TV series. We have 12, the television Bible is basically written with 12 ideas of what we want to do, and that's really basically where we're at with it, and deciding where we're going to go with it and what we're going to do, and if we're going to do it in English and Spanish, and that's what I think we are going to do with it. Do it in English and Spanish for networks. Yeah?
I'm a Puerto Rican actress from New York.
Okay, hey.
And just curious as to why you chose Washington Heights.
Because I lived there, and I lived across the street. I lived across the street where we filmed. And you know, let me tell you though, I love Washington Heights. I love Washington Heights. I know it's a largely Dominican neighborhood. And I've done a lot of movies in Spanish Harlem too, so that's largely Puerto Rican. But in Washington Heights, the streets are bigger. You know what I mean? It had a little bit more space. And what's that? And yeah, I was just going to say, apartments are huge in Washington Heights. And we were very fortunate to get this apartment to use it. And it was very accessible. Everything, I think 95% of the movie was shot in Washington Heights.
Yeah.
Except the courtroom scene was on a set in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
We made a set. We were there for that. But 95% of it was shot in Washington Heights.
Like in a square block, pretty much. It was like everything was.
Yeah, because it wasn't safe to go beyond that.
And the city of New York in August, right before the movie releases, is doing a big party on the streets of Washington Heights with TIO PAPI. So it's very exciting that they're going to do a big, because the community was a part of our film. You know, a lot of the people in the community, all the people when I was first coming in, hey, Ray, hey, what's up? You know, they all live in the neighborhood. Yeah. I hired a ton of people in Washington Heights, a ton. And
tell them about when the kids were being taken.
Oh, yeah, well, in that neighborhood, yeah. If you see that, if you ever, when you go to the theaters and see it again in September, when
you're taking all your friends and
when they're taking the kids from us, Kelly McGillis, and they're taking the kids. So many people in the neighborhood thought it was real. Like they didn't. They were like, "Oh, this always happens! Oh my God! Oh my! This is crazy!" They were hanging out the windows. Get away! Get away! We're like, "No, it's a movie. It's a movie." You know? And hey, listen. What about Kelly McGillis, man? She was a champ in this film, huh? And she hasn't seen the movie yet. She's going to see it next week with me in Miami. So I'm really excited for her to see it. She's going to be joining me in Miami, where we're having another screening. And but that's, you know, Washington Heights was the place that we made it happen. You know, and it looks beautiful on film, Washington Heights. It's street, but it's got heart, you know, and that's what we're going for.
And the bridge was amazing.
Yeah.
The different shots of the bridge was gorgeous,
Yeah.
the light.
Yeah.
In the blue?
You made that comment earlier about the fact that this was entertainment that had a lot of Puerto Ricans or Hispanics that weren't like doing anything violent or like dealing drugs or anything like that. Is that something like you were consciously trying to pursue with this and like maybe trying to change the mainstream?
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit? You know, going to continue with that? Like,
Absolutely. If you go see Musical Chairs, it's the same same film, which will be, it's going to have a VOD release pretty soon, right after the release on, after the awards, I believe, in May. Musical Chairs is about another Latino family. There's no drug addict. I mean, my character plays, he sells pop, but he's not like a mess. You know what I'm saying? But I'm the bad sheep in that movie. I'm the bad one in that movie. But the reality is that it's a really great, strong Latino family that is, it's all about community and heart and soul, and that's the movies we're making. Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna have to start wrapping it up. I'm gonna take 2 more questions. Is that okay with everyone? 2 more questions?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you want to pick one up?
No, I mean, just, there's one here and one there.
Yeah.
I saw 2 hands.
There you go.
You said 2 questions.
Go for it. Who'd you point to?
Okay, go ahead. All right, the guy.
I'll take the job. But, I did Shakespeare. So, it's just great. I love seeing movies. So thank you.
Thank you. Keep going, too.
Great.
Welcome. From way out from Asia. And I have to take my hat off to all of you as actors because I know what he goes through. It's not every day that you get a job or you get paid for your job. And it takes a lot of not only initiative but as you all described, you really have to be having a passion for doing this kind of work. And I have a real passion for education. And when Joey introduced himself to us as we walked in, I already commented to him that the theme is wonderful. We need more of that in our society in USA. I have traveled widely all over the world, and I have done international Montessori education. So I'm very aware of different cultures and from where children and people come and the respect. And many of these people who commented said they appreciated the fact that we didn't have drugs and all this crap. And we don't need to feed this to our society. Americans have wonderful things to draw from because we have such a lot of cultures, such a melting pot, but we are creating a bad attitude from other people when we promote things like
Yes.
this.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for
Yeah.
coming. Yes.
Sure.
So I would like to just address you just for a second, the gentleman in red. I'm sorry, what is your name?
My name is Joe.
Joe? So, I can't help it because I'm kind of the mother of the group because I'm the oldest one. But what I want to say to you is, so be the best gangbanger you can be, and be the best drug addict you can be, and be the best dad, and the best son, and the best brother, and the best lawyer, and the best doctor, and the best president. Be all of those things. And you open that up, and you will be cast as those things. So don't just define yourself as that. I know you feel that sometimes they do that, but it's not true. The market will open up to you. And the world, there is enough room, and there is no scarcity of parts for any of us. So do that guy, and don't do him with an attitude of resentment. Be fabulous, and then be the fabulous kick-ass attorney, or the head of the police department, or the lead in that series or that film or that play. Do it all.
Very good advice. Very good advice. So that was excellent advice for everyone in any area of the industry in the world. So let's just, Joey, if you could just tell us again when the movie's going to be out theatrically.
September of 2013. I believe it's September 6th, 2013.
Nationwide?
Yep.
Go see it. Thank you so much. Thank everyone.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Good news.